Well, yeah, so I wanted to talk about the concept of delivery practice, which is kind of like the way I personally feel or see kind of like the value of such improvement or improving consistently now. What kind of like personally means to me on a daily basis, how I reflect on it, and how I work through that as a product engineer. So I'm not sure if you've heard about this idea of the 10,000 hour rule, about this idea that, well, this analysis was made years ago about how to be an expert on an area, like an elite musician or an elite athlete, you have to dedicate 10,000 hours of practice in order to get to that status. It turned out later on that it wasn't only about those 10,000 hours, it was also about how that practice was happening. And that's where kind of it shifted to be like, it's not 10,000 hours of practice, it's 10,000 hours of delivery practice. One example is like, if you, well, for a musician, for example, they do not rehearse, let's say, a symphony from end to end, hour after hour altogether. It's much more about individual practice of very small things going all together. Like they might do several chunks of exercises that are non-musical at all, building the physical dexterity to it. Then they will work on things like improvisation a little bit, hearing the others, musicality and interpretation, things like that. And then from time to time, they work on that full-on thing. So it's kind of like working through that in a really deliberate manner and really focusing on which areas that they really need to improve in order to really lead. So that's great, but there's a huge difference as well between, let's say, like engineers and athletes, because or musicians. The moment of optimal performance for an athlete will be just an Olympics, which is like every 4 years, or for a musician it will be either when they are recording or when they are live, and that's just one part of their job. The rest, like 90% of that, is the actual training, whereas for us it's kind of like 8 hours every day of optimal performance, hopefully. So the way of training through it has to be like much more mindful on really working and improving consistently on very small chunks. Either that or we will burn out. So and we definitely don't want that. So I feel that that's really like the tricky part. What does it mean then to delivery practice as product engineer, and how we can start doing it? And for me, then like the first part is like, okay, what do I pick in order to improve? Like, in order to really say that I'm doing delivery practice, I need to really have that focus. So that then first I need to identify different things. And for me, it's something that's been evolving a lot over the years. Like, let's say, like initially it was a lot about just like learning more and more how to code, but then it started having more dimensions to it. Like, I need to learn testing, I need to learn refactoring, I need to learn how to work properly with the team. I need to understand product and what does it mean to be a product engineer. I need to grow in empathy and communication. So it started evolving to this like idea that I have, or this mental image that I have of kind of like just like the Vitruvian man. It's like the, let's say, like the ideal proportions of the human body. Kind of like this concept of what will be like a Vitruvian product developer, or that version of myself, kind of that I aim to achieve. I don't think it's like there's a single definition for that. I think it's a personal definition for each of us, and that's ever changing. Like, I don't think that's an attainable ideal. I think that as soon as you grow on one of these areas, that proportion keeps going further and further. Or you decide that, no, it was much shorter than you expected and you're completely fine with having some depth to it and not as much as you were thinking about. So, yeah, I mean, it could be many things. I do reflect a lot on that, on either like on a daily basis, coming back from the working space back home, thinking if it's been a good day or not, what could have been better. Whenever I ship a feature, thinking how I could grab a similar feature in the future and make that better. When we finish a cycle, how can I work better with the team, and how can I also, be better or a better version of myself for the next cycle. Figuring out things like, what's the most important thing for me right now is is my coding editor the best one for the job I currently have? Should I invest into and practice other editors, challenge my own assumptions on what's the best tool, give it a try, be more consistent with keyboard shortcuts, for example, and be able to use much more that rather than the mouse. So maybe I should challenge myself to just not have a mouse around and see when I really need to go to that. But it could be other things like maybe I do need to work more on my speed on adding tests to things, because I feel that right now I can't make it on a production code base because it's slowing down the team. So maybe it's like I need to work deliberately on my ability of adding tests to a code base so that it becomes muscle memory. Or how do I refactor safely? How do I use Git and I don't mess up with master? So I think it's something that for me it's ever changing, but it's about really breaking down the development process that I have on a daily basis and figuring out what's either like the lowest hanging fruit right now or the most important thing for me to improve. And one thing that I feel is very important in order to do that, it's like, okay, once I've found these things, I need to set time aside for that. Of course, we're working 8 hours a day. That doesn't leave much time for that, but thankfully, I think that with a good amount of focus on especially knowing what do I want to improve, it's easy then to just dedicate 30 minutes every day to something. And I feel that 30 minutes, it's a short amount of time to even take it from these 8 hours of work to say, well, I can just start my day instead of warming up in a different way, just starting ahead with the task at hand. I can use this initial 30 minutes for delivery practice. I know that Harrison also does it. It's been something that it was very key for me to do. I used to do like many coding katas, and that was like really helpful in order for me to grow my speed of being able to work on a code base using TDD, for example, and being able to not focus on the outcome, not feel pressure to have something that needs to be valuable for production or something that can't be breaking. Instead, it was, or those are like really safe spaces for myself, and it's really focused on that. So there's some examples on things that I use as tools for delivery practice. Like if I want to, for example, improve coding itself, there's like many coding katas that challenge you in many different ways. It could be like learning new algorithms in order to solve something, but it can be like using TV and having a problem that's like a very silly problem, something that it's not half as hard as our day-to-day features to solve, and can really help us focus into this. Katas are in martial arts just like these movements, these choreographies that are practiced solo or in pairs. So it's like something that they keep repeating until it becomes muscle memory. So kind of like using this sort of idea, working on different skills so that they become muscle memory to me. And it's not really just like Haley this morning. I mean, I'm super grateful for those two moves, but I get the feeling that if I get knocked today, I won't remember on doing them, and I will just like scare the crap out of me and do like really badly. So I feel that I will really need to practice that a lot in order to really react that way in that moment. Then there's the concept of cones. There's like many, in order to learn the basics of a programming language, there are many repositories in Git which introduce the basics of a language in an incremental basis with cones, like, just like lots of test assertions that the description tells you what it's expected from the language to behave, and you see things like how different functions, how different ways, how different things are done in that language. So you keep iterating and growing through that. But then there's other things that are like really great, like things like oshitgit.com. If you want, for example, to experiment with Git history, it's great if you pick things like, I don't know, a big repository, open source, like Rails, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you check things like big open source projects and see like how they work and everything, but then you go here or you check on Stack Overflow all the questions of people that are really struggling with Git on production because they've just messed up and they are pretty pressured in order to fix it, and you reproduce that on a safe space for yourself locally or creating a form of such repo. You can just like mess it up on a safe space. If something gets lost, nobody is going to be hurt or anything. And yeah, and it's a great way then to be safe that if that happens tomorrow, you know already how to behave for that. I'm creating just a small repo with a README on different things that I've, well, just building this talk, different things that kept coming back to me, like different books and yeah, with different repositories like I was mentioning. And yeah, and if you have some things I would love to have contributors on this and keep going this, so it will even become something that instead of being a repository of mine will be a buffer team. And yeah, I think this is something from a book called Apprenticeship Patterns, which was like really key for me when I was starting a few years ago. And it was something that really resonated around like just working on improving ourselves and being better than ourselves yesterday, and then like just helping each other to keep improving and keep everyone developing their own potential. And yeah, I mean, if anyone is excited about something like this, I would love to be a resource to figure out how to break things down in order to do this sort of delivery practice on many different areas, or we could do a small plain dojo on Friday. What else?